Strategic planning offers a really wonderful methodology for really taking on any kind of a project, or whether you're running your life or a whole organization. It provides a framework that starts with really defining what your mission is and what it is that you want to achieve. And I love this methodology. I'm very passionate about applying it, because if it's done right, it really allows you to tackle any project in a values-based way. So if you have a vision statement and everybody is a part of developing that vision, it really provides you with a framework to teach people how you do want them to behave. And that is so key. You want to guide them toward what you want. So I worked within a group in a hospital and emergency room at one point. And this is a very high-pressured environment. And you can imagine that people see all sorts of terrible things, and it's very stressful, and it's 24/7, and it's relentless. And there were a couple of bad actors in this group, and they'd get very stressed, and they would just act out in certain ways that were demoralizing to other members of the team. So the goal was to get these people to stop acting in that manner. And so I didn't think it was going to be all that effective to put together a workshop that talks about how not to behave. So what we did do is get that group together, and it was a small microcosm of this larger hospital, and we had them craft their own mission statement and talk about what they wanted to do. We had them look at their own values as individuals and as a group, and then we took that and we had them develop a credo statement and a boundary statement. And the credo said, as a part of this group, we have these certain core beliefs. This is what we value. This is how we want to treat one another and our patients. And people really signed on to that. They all had a say in what was drafted in there, and they all had a stake in seeing it come true. On the flip side, they also crafted a boundary statement, which were I will never statements. And one of those statements that they said is, I will never treat my colleagues in a disrespectful manner. Then we were able to approach the training in a much more positive way. We could say, all right, here's your mission, here's your vision, this is what you want to achieve. These are the values that you all espouse. And so now we're going to really focus on how we're going to treat one another so that we can bring those values to life and we can live them every day and taking care of our patients in this really high-paced, stressful environment. And then we role modeled what that behavior looked like. We threw out some scenarios and we said, great, if you're living according to your values and your credo, what does that look like? People talk to one another, and they really got it. And on the flip side, we only indulged once in what a negative behavior was, but we took the most egregious thing that we knew that one of the members of the team had done in the past, and that was reflected in a boundary statement. So we would never, ever treat people disrespectfully. And we actually had that person role model what that looks like. But we didn't pick them out and say, you're a nasty person and don't do this. We had them really look and pretend to be quite abusive toward a colleague and then talk about how ridiculous it was afterwards. And in that way, they were able to address the behavior they never wanted to see, but they very quickly went back to reinforcing the behaviors that they did want. And that is the power of a positive vision statement. Everybody can buy into that. Everybody knows that they want to achieve that. They are passionate about reaching that agreement. And therefore, they understand that how they behave has everything to do with their ability to achieve that vision, and wonderful, powerful things can result.